That's a good hand cart. Yeah.
They lost us a $10.
Yeah. I fucking love that movie.
I think it's still on Netflix.
Hello, world. Are the microphones on? Okay. All right. You got the title up there? I can't. Okay.
All right. You guys are hot micing and transition.
Hot mic. Hot mic. 1, 2.
And we're live.
We're live. Back in it, boys. Cold Beers Whitetails. Got my boy Cody Shank here. Cheers, brother.
What's up?
Got my boy. Had to bring him on. Runs the gun department up where we work at. Um, big hunter. Killed a lot of good shit in his day. A little bit different than what I chase from the whitetail, but still has knocked down some good animals with gun. Outside outside the U.S.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yep.
But Cody, from Colorado.
Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about where you're from and your hunting experience up to this point.
Uh, Unfortunately, I'm from Colorado. Everybody hates that place because I do. Um, Grew up just small game hunting with my dad. We went out squirrel hunting, and that was just a big memory for me. And then we just loved being outdoors together. And we did turkey hunting, which I love. I love bird hunting, turkey, upland game, all that stuff. That's really like I've killed more birds than I have four-legged animals in the U.S. I've
That's
taken
hard to believe after seeing what I've seen.
I've
But
taken my rifle for a walk a lot of times and not seen or killed anything. Uh, but in the mid 2010s, my dad said he was going to South Africa to go hunting, and I was super excited for him. I was super envious, and he started sending me pictures. I'm like, that'd be fun to do one day. Like go over to South Africa with my dad one day
no doubt,
and go hunting.
no doubt.
So he went another year after that, and in 2018, I think January, we went to the International Sportsman's Expo in Denver, and he's like, we're gonna pick an outfitter to go with, and I'm gonna take you for your first hunt in South Africa. So we spent an entire day at the Colorado Convention Center in Denver, and we finally picked the guy we wanted to go with, and we set it up for September. And I mean, that was the longest
Waiting period.
waiting period because I
Oh
was
yeah.
so pumped, and waited that time and went and got my passport, and it came up a lot quicker than I thought it would. And we went to the Denver airport, got on a plane, went to Atlanta, got on a plane from Atlanta to Johannesburg, which honestly, that's the worst part. It's a 16-hour
I was
flight
about
one way.
that.
16 hours one way. So the first 8 hours you probably sleep.
Were you drinking on the flight?
I mean,
I would have had a beer.
it's international water, so yeah, you can drink whatever you want. And you know, woke up the rest of the 8 hours and got up and walked around, and then you land and it's nighttime. You leave at night and you get there at night, so it's
Oh, you're
really
thrown off.
it's yeah, big time.
All right, so that's your okay. Let me take it back here. So that was your first South
First
Africa
one,
trip.
yeah.
Okay, and you've been three.
I've been 3 times.
So going back to the first one, what all did you knock down when you were there your first trip?
My first trip, I did black wildebeest, common blesbuck, common impala, a kudu, and a bush pig, I believe.
Man. All right, so you get back. by the way, I think I've talked to you about this a couple of times. So I know you've talked to me about it, but just tell the people about getting your animal heads back here. So for the taxidermy purposes and what all entailed in that, how much it costs for you to just get it back here to the U.S.
So the first time I went, I think I got 5 animals if I counted correctly. It is so much cheaper to do it over there than here. I mean, that's what they do.
You're talking about the taxidermy work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Taxidermy over there. That's all they do. So, of course, you're gonna go with
Mm-hmm.
somebody that knows African animals inside and out instead of
Bringing it back and doing
bringing
it
it
here.
back.
Yeah.
And if I had to remember, I think because my dad also shot an animal, so there was 6. I think 6 animals in total. I think it was about 3,000 or something,
Well, that ain't
and
bad
that
at all.
includes packing and shipping because it has to come over on a boat.
Yeah.
It goes from South Africa all the way to a port in Atlanta, and then they fly it or
Through
drive it up to
customs or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
It takes about a year. That's the only bad part is it takes about a year.
3,000 everybody for 5 animals.
6.
6 animals.
6 animals.
So in perspective, even if you got a good deer here, which a good deer could cost $800 or $900, you're probably you're more inexpensive, less in cost, if you will.
Right.
Kind of doing that. You know what I mean? I mean, not necessarily your whole trip entailed pennies on a dollar making your trip all the way over there, but from a taxidermy standpoint, no, it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So you can make that happen. So of that first trip, do you have any of those hunts where you look at, or of those 5 animals you harvest, are any of those your favorite hunts?
I think my favorite one out of that was well, it's kind of tied. My black wildebeest and my kudu. Those were probably my favorite 2.
Mm.
My black wildebeest, I'm not ashamed to admit it, I missed the first shot.
Did you really? How far out?
I think it was like 250.
Holy shit, though. That's a poke.
So 250 shot, and thankfully I missed. And the guy we go with, Brian, he's like, first time in Africa, you got to give a bullet to Africa. So I'm like,
So that was charging it to the game. You're like,
Yes.
fucking, all
I'm
right,
like,
there's
okay.
the one, motherfucker.
Yep, I'm there.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm fucking there no more.
Yeah. I'm glad I missed. I don't.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got it's kind of like getting hit your first time while you're playing in the game. You're not in the game until you freaking get hit. You're not in it until you've really missed. Then the hunt's on. So you miss them.
Missed them, and that was mid-afternoon. So we chased them for probably 5 hours till we got to the point where
shit.
Yeah, till we got to a point where we could get one within like 100 yards.
Oh, so you chased this same animal for 5 hours?
It was actually a big group of them, and
okay.
Thankfully, Brian, the guy we hunt with, he picked the one. He's like, that's the biggest one that I can see. That's the one that you want to shoot. Which, of course, I'm like, hell yeah, it's my first African animal. Of course,
you ain't
I'm
gonna
shoot
argue
it.
with motherfucker. You're like, hell yeah.
No. So got that. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Great experience, especially with my dad. I can't thank my dad enough.
How much does that mean to you to be able to do all that with your dad?
Literally, I can't put a price on that.
Oh yeah, I'll bet.
Me and my dad, we get to share that together.
Yeah, nobody can take that from you guys.
Never.
Did you go all 3 times with him?
Yes.
Yeah. Probably was more. I'm going to ask, and I'm insinuating. So correct me if I'm wrong. It probably was more special each time over.
Oh, 100%.
With him. Yeah, I bet so.
100%.
So the only reason I'm saying it from an envious standpoint, because I didn't grow up in a hunting family. My dad didn't hunt. He got me into fishing and stuff like that, but I didn't grow up hunting necessarily with my family or anything. So everything that I've been taught is kind of self-taught through a lot of my failures. But that's awesome. Your dad kind of showed you the ropes there on that. I mean, you got opportunities that most people wouldn't be able to create by themselves. Even if you had a hair on your nut and you're like, you know what, I want to go to South Africa. Well, who would have been able to guide you the right way
10 years
other than your dad?
Yeah, 10 years ago, I never thought that Africa was even a place I would go.
Yeah.
Everybody has this mindset that, oh, it's South Africa. It's so expensive to hunt. Well, they're looking at elephants, leopards, all this stuff that's tens of thousands. They're not looking at the quintessential South African plains game that you can get. And it's pennies on the dollar, like you said.
So you go back all right. So we got done. We pretty much nailed your first time. So you go back the second time. Are you killing as many as you did the first time?
Second time, not as many. I think I did 4.
4.
Yeah, 4. I did.
Is that when you killed your zebra?
Yes, my favorite thing, pajama donkey. It was hilarious.
A
Like
pajama donkey? Is that
pajama
what you just
donkey.
called it?
Yes,
I love it.
that was one that my mom loved her to death, but she doesn't. She doesn't hunt, which is totally cool. She she enjoys seeing the animals, but she gave me a list of things I couldn't hunt, and like giraffe, elephant, lion, and zebra was on that list.
I just love that your mom's like, don't kill these. Don't.
She's like, they're too pretty of an animal. It's too much like a horse.
Mom, I'm gonna kill him.
Well, she didn't know until we got back to the lodge that night that I shot a zebra. But
so is she not happy? I hate to segue, but
I think she hit me maybe twice.
Oh,
But
what's
yeah.
that? They're mean. Oh,
And
yeah.
they're so hard to hunt. You never think, oh, zebras are probably dumb. That's probably the hardest hunt that I did was a zebra.
Oh, yeah.
There's not ever just one zebra out there. There's 10 zebras, and then there's whatever animals they're huddled with, and that's 10 more pairs of eyes that are looking out for you.
So when you're killing, are you using the same gun?
So the first
trip, second trip, same gun, different gun.
Second and third trip, I use the same gun.
Okay. So what'd you use the first trip?
6.5 Creedmoor.
What'd you use the second and third trip?
300 Win Mag.
Oh, okay.
I learned pretty quick. The 6.5 did fantastic. It killed all the animals, but the stuff I wanted to go after was just getting a little bit bigger, and I wanted to make sure that it was a
You
one
got that
shot.
knockdown power.
Yeah.
You want to let them know you're in the area.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude. You had a chance to kill a freaking zebra.
It was pretty cool. It's such a neat experience because there's always a story to the animals that you kill.
Oh yeah.
Like the one that I harvested was super old.
Mature.
Old, very mature. He was kind of pushing the younger stallions out, and it was just kind of his time.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got up to him, he had pretty much ground his teeth down to gums.
Oh yeah.
So it would have been one of those, maybe one more season he'd be good, but he probably wouldn't have been, much after that.
For people who don't know, I'll just dive into this a little further. He's talking about their teeth because a lot of times that's how people age animals when you're hunting them, because it's very hard to tell on the hoof how old an animal is just because you're looking at it, and from body shape and size. Yeah, you can have somebody who's like, I feel very, very good about judging deer, but guess what? I can be wrong by a year, right? God forbid you're wrong. Just you can have a deer that's smaller and should be bigger within his age class, or is too big and should be smaller within his age class. But the only way to talk about what he was getting at is to be able to pull those teeth out and basically send a jaw line to most of the time a taxidermist or whatever that'll be able to age a zebra, a deer, an animal. And so when he said something about the zebra pretty much not having teeth left, that is a direct indication you totally harvested a mature zebra, because God forbid you had one any younger, you have a full mouth of teeth, right? You know what I mean? So back teeth are floating.
Dude, they were. They were.
I'll bet so.
Yeah.
I bet when you pulled back on that bad boy, you were shaking like a tree leaf.
Oh God, no shame in that.
All right. So that's what I want to ask. Which one were you the most nervous about? Like you were like, holy shit, I might fuck this up. I can barely keep my stuff together right now. Where fever, everything was coming into play. You can go into your third trip too, if you need to go that far.
It definitely wasn't something that I killed. It was the third trip, so last October. My
so
dad.
You weren't the shooter?
No, my dad was. It was his buffalo.
No, that's awesome. So you were just as jacked, if not more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on cameraman duty.
So he's going to. I've been trying to tell him this. I'm like, hey man, he's going to hunt with me this year for his first time, and I got him a bow whenever he graduated through some of his military courses, and he's going to try and harvest a deer, but he has a real good passion for, as you can tell, like production and camera and stuff. And I've tried to tell him, I'm like, hey man, you'll think it's probably just filming nature, but like you'll realize the intent of why you're filming what you're filming. You'll be really, really jacked up as you're doing it. So just be ready. Like you might
Big
be
time.
more jacked up than the person taking the shot, which this is a perfect testimony of that happens all the time. And I've seen plenty of films, I'm sure as you have too, on the internet where the guy's like shaking trying to hold the camera, and the guy who killed it may be cool as a cucumber. You know what I mean? So
Pretty sure I got more video of the blue sky than I did anything else.
so your dad's buffalo.
My dad's
That's
buffalo.
what had you most jacked up.
Yes. So my dad's got a 375 H&H, big gun.
Big gun go boom boom.
Yes, big gun. The guy Brian that we hunt with, he's got a big gun. And then there's me, I have a video camera.
So you think that played into why you were jacked up, because you didn't feel necessarily covered on all your bases?
I felt covered, but you have to be the fastest one.
Yeah.
You got to be the fastest one. When things go south, you gotta hope to be the fastest one. But I think I was so jacked up because we spent a solid 2 days, I think, picking through this group of buffalo. I think there was 60 or 70 of them, and that's what we did for 2 days. We went through and meticulously looked at each buffalo bull to make sure that he was mature enough, that he didn't still have time to grow, and it wasn't like the breeding bull. You don't want to take the breeding bull out unless you absolutely have to. So
even if the breeding bull's the biggest one down there, you still
you just
reserve off of it.
Oh yeah, and that's a big thing too. Is you just got to keep that bloodline strong for that group,
that herd.
Yeah. But we're driving in his truck, and we see this group, and then we go up and around, I don't know, probably 200 yards, and we get out, and we start walking through, and I'm not even joking. The thorns on some of the stuff in South Africa are like this.
Oh, geez.
And they are sharp.
Oh, man.
So you're going through all these woods and all this thicket, just getting stuck and trying to film and trying to figure out where you're going.
No.
And
that sounds treacherous.
It was treacherous, but what an adrenaline rush.
Oh, I'll bet so.
When you see them, and I'll have to show you, I should have sent you a video, but I'll show you a video. There's a group of them, and it's not just one or two pairs of eyes on you. It's literally like all 70 of them.
Just sitting there staring at you.
Yeah. And it's thick, thick brush, and they can see you.
And
yeah,
that makes me paranoid already.
I think we finally got to a point where we could stop and, watch them. And Brian, the guy we hunt with, finally picked the one out and made sure my dad knew which one that he was looking at, so you kind of get on that same page. And he would get in a really good shot, and you go to take the shot, and another buffalo would walk in front of it. So it was a lot of patience. It was a big waiting game.
Yeah.
And
even when you felt like you had an opportunity.
Oh yeah, that's huge. Because in Africa, there's so many of that animal that you're hunting. It's never like a singular, like with deer. There's never like just that singular buck out there in South Africa that you're going to shoot. It's always a group.
That just reminded me of that when you were talking about all of them looking back at you with their eyes. Boy, that'll make you nervous, feeling like you're busted. But even though they still can't make you out necessarily, I'm sure they could see you.
They could see us, but they couldn't tell what we were.
Couldn't make you out, yeah.
And it's really weird to see that.
No, I'm sure
those buffalo with them huge horns.
They ever start walking towards you? Because what deer do whenever I've noticed this, whenever I've stood in a deer's field of vision and I'm like brushed up on a tree, or I'm in a tree stand, or like there's been a couple times I've walked along a creek with him and we've seen deer, but I know they don't know what I am because I'm being so still, like I'm not moving. Did you ever see him like step to you? Like not necessarily coming at you.
Not necessarily. We tried to make sure, I think there was 5 of us in the group. There was like a skinner, a tracker, Brian, my dad, and I. And we tried to stay in kind of like a single file line, so we weren't just like this big
group of hunters.
Yeah,
just
big group of something out there for them to see.
Yeah, is what you're getting at. Yeah.
And we were told, Brian told us, hey, 25 yards is probably like the farthest we're going to get from these things. And I'm thinking like 25 yards.
The furthest?
Yeah. He was telling us the furthest we'd get from these would be 25 yards. We'd have to get pretty close. And that's in a perfect situation.
Right.
So the situation that we had was we couldn't get it any closer than about 75. And 375 H&H, it's not a long-range caliber. It's a big, heavy bullet.
It's got that.
And it's got
having the drop.
Yes,
I'm sure after a certain.
It's big, dumb, and slow.
Yeah.
But it packs a punch. And we picked the bull out that my dad was going to shoot, and we were waiting for it to go broadside. It'd go broadside, and then another buffalo would go behind
getting
it.
away. Oh, my gosh. Just building the anticipation.
Yes, building the anticipation.
Oh, man.
And then finally, it kind of looked at it, like
squared up
at us,
yeah.
and lifted his head like this.
Did he put one in the chest?
Put one in the chest.
Oh, my gosh. That's ballsy.
It dropped it, but it got back up.
Dropped it right there and stands back up on all fours.
And I'll show you the video after this. You see the four legs kind of roll over on itself, and it kind of stumbles and gets up, and it starts kind of stumbling away, and then it lays down, and then it gets back up, and in the video, Brian's like, hit it again. So my dad shoots it again, and it kind of gets up, and it's like, it's hurt.
No, I'm
big
sure.
Time hurt.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge risk there. When they're wounded, they're even more dangerous. I think that's with anything.
Just come aggressive?
Just super aggressive. And what Brian told us is when they smell blood, they get really, really aggressive. So there was a younger bull that stuck with this one, like protecting it. So the rest of the herd scatters, and it's the bull my dad shot and this younger one. And the bull that my dad shot's like, it's out. We're just kind of waiting for it to.
You're letting it harvest.
Yeah.
You're doing the best you can to ethically let time go by before you walk out.
But this young bull did not want us to get close, and it got hairy.
Being protective of this big boy?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. Wow.
And the big bull my dad shot would try to get up a little bit, and then that young bull would turn around and start coming at us.
So is this not during a rutting period?
No.
Oh, okay, because I was just getting ready to say, have you ever seen the videos of a buck getting killed and another buck like trying to fight the buck that's on the ground? That's what I would think that you were getting ready to tell me.
And a buffalo is one of the big five of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So they're pretty dangerous, but I mean, when my dad's got a big gun and Brian, our guide's got a big gun, you're like, okay, you kind of feel somewhat safe, but when that young bull turns at you and kind of like false charges you like a grizzly bear would.
Oh shit,
dude! My asshole went from like that. I mean, it was
shit. Son, I would have been too. I would have been.
Oh my god!
That would have been enough to check me out. I've been like, you can see.
Yep, I checked Yankee out of that one, big time.
Corey, you want to grab us a couple beers?
And
We'll tip you.
Just for the record.
I'll give you a little tip. You know what I mean?
We'll give you just a tip.
And just for the record, Sarah Sammer says,
that's my sister.
Your brother right there.
What's up, sis?
What's going on, sis?
Yeah.
That.
Go ahead, top her off, man.
What we need to do is make you like a.
I'm gonna put a maid outfit on him.
Just get ready to say it like he could be the.
I know I've met him just today, and I probably shouldn't say that.
Don't do that. Don't get naked. But actually, go ahead. Yeah.
You're not in shot. You need to be over here,
right?
To be in shot.
I'm like, hey, I'll start roll snapping you, Corey. I'm like, Corey. Then he starts throwing beers. That's when, he starts grabbing ARs. No, dude, that's an awesome story.
Yeah.
Man, that is an awesome story. Chad, I'm really glad that you had a chance to hear that because just to show you, like, dude, you will get freaking jacked up, dude. Mm-hmm. Like if we rattle in a good buck while we got that decoy out there or something, you will get jacked up. You will get fired.
No, your sister likes you too much. She says this kid is one of the best humans out there. Thank you for taking the time to talk with him.
Oh yeah, of course. Cody's the guy. Are you kidding me? That's why we had him on. He's a Czech Yankee brother. He's top of the line, man. Well, he got hired the week after I did, and we did this little show and tell thing up at work, and he brings his little booklet of all these South African kills. I'm going through them. I'm like, I perk up like a meerkat. I'm like, this dude kills shit. And they're like, a couple of guys we're in there with, they're like, yeah. I heard he was a hunter. I'm like, no, this dude kills big shit. Look, this ain't deer, damn it.
Right.
Listen, like, look at what I'm trying to tell you right now. And they're like, oh man, that is crazy. I'm like, there's like fucking 18 pages of it. And I'm like, look, dude, like,
And I'm just so fortunate to be able to do that. And
oh well, yeah, I'm sure you feel blessed. That's
Oh,
good, and you should
100%.
feel blessed, man. You should. You sound like you cherish it.
oh, 100%.
All right, so that was your second trip.
That was third.
That was the third?
That was last
Okay.
October.
That was last October. That's what I was getting ready to ask you. When was the last time you've been there? So do you plan on going back?
Tentatively, probably fall of 25. Hopefully, if not, we'll just
Old man's in.
We'll just push it back another year.
Yeah, old man's wanting to go again.
Oh, 100%. I think the 2018 we were there on my dad's birthday, which was awesome. That's a great birthday present.
Oh man,
and to be there,
say the literal least. Like, I mean, good grief, you have amazing memories that a lifetime would cash in all of their experiences just for 1 week of what you've got, and you've done it 3 times. So, well, that's awesome.
And shout out to Cindy Shank.
Oh gosh.
Yep. Hey, Mom and Dad, we got your boy on here. Excellent, man. You've raised a great one. He likes cold beer, so we're already friends. Cheers.
Yeah.
All right, so now okay. Because I'm sure I could keep you going on and on forever about your South Africa experiences. But, all right, so do you move here from Oklahoma? Okay, because you're in Oklahoma City right now.
Yes.
All right, so you move here. You live in Oklahoma City. Are you planning on trying to? Because you got all sorts of guns. Like gun season in Oklahoma is like longer than anywhere in the U.S. Like it's about 4 weeks long.
Yeah.
So you can easily put one down. What's your plan? Are you trying to hunt deer or what?
I want to finally give myself the challenge and try to pick up archery.
Okay.
I
knew you were saying that, brother. I got you. I hope you out.
And everything in Oklahoma, I feel like you don't need a big high-powered rifle for. And
everything will be within 100 yards if you do everything right. I mean, the shots you've taken compared to what you will, they're not even in comparison. Right. There's literally no comparison. You will be feeling like you're shooting right out of the barrel. Dude, that'd be awesome you get an archery. What kind of bow you thinking?
I don't know. I've honestly,
You're only allowed to shoot Matthews. You know that,
well,
right? Okay, yeah.
I told you to set me up, and I'd set you up with something.
Yeah, all right. Well, perfect. Mutually beneficial. Mutually beneficial.
My dad's got I think I shot my dad. He's got a Prime G5.
Oh, okay, Primes are good. Yeah.
So I've shot his bow.
Pretty good.
God, it's been 10, 11 years.
But I shot your dad bow hunts. Did you shoot bow, or would you call him bow hunter? Or what would you say?
Bow enthusiast.
Okay.
He's got. I think it's still hanging up in the gun room or the ammo room in their house, but I want to pick it up. I want a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, not that rifle hunting's not a challenge.
No, but archery's the hardest of the challenges. So.
I lived in Colorado and Wyoming.
Yeah.
I moved from Wyoming last summer. I didn't know I knew what it was, but I didn't ever hunt out of a tree stand.
Yeah.
Didn't ever hunt with feeder, all that stuff. I mean, for one, there's no trees in Wyoming.
No, there isn't. You're spot and stock. And
baiting animals is illegal.
Yep.
So it was all brand new to me. And all I ever did was rifle hunt. And
that's a pretty difficult way to start bow hunting anyways. You probably would have done yourself more of a disservice trying to get into archery in that circumstance because your firsthand experiences wouldn't have been nearly as rich. Right. It'd have been a lot of work for, I hate to say it, just probably a lot of nothing. Even a guy who feels very proficient with his bow like me, I could go out to the west right now and come back with squat. And I'd probably say that's highly likely that I would come back with squat.
Well, that's to me, that's hunting.
Yeah, that is hunting. Or it'd be grocery shopping, as I heard one old man call it. Yeah. He said it'd be grocery shopping if you got something every time you went out.
The one and only time I went elk hunting was with my dad, of course. I mean, who doesn't want to go hunting with your dad?
Is it? Nah, no doubt there. Is it illegal? I've always wanted to know this, which, going back to your South Africa experience, is it illegal to hunt by yourself for elk for in South Africa, do you have to have a group of 3 for a spotter for a caller?
No. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't say book a plane to South Africa and then try to go out and start hunting.
Yeah.
I would definitely get somebody that's a PH, a professional hunter, is what they call them, and go out because they're going to be the ones. I mean, that's what they do. They eat, they sleep, they breathe hunting there, and that's their biggest thing. Is I wouldn't tell anybody to be like, yeah, just book a plane ticket, go to South Africa, and figure out where you're going to hunt.
Do your research.
Yeah, big time. Like I said, we spent an entire day at this expo trying to find the right one, and the guy that we found, we're really good friends with him now.
Well, I'm sure after 3 years of doing it, it's the same guy you went with all 3, right?
Yeah, and he comes to the U.S. Like January to first part of March and does all the a bunch of expos in the U.S. and we go and help him out and kind of
awesome. Well, I'm sure he cherishes it.
Oh yeah,
you know. I'm sure you guys. I'm sure he's got other clients, I should say,
100%.
from here as well. So, no, that's awesome, dude. Yeah. So, what would you say? I got about 2 more questions to ask you. But what would you say you're most looking forward to? And seeing how you aren't going to Africa this year,
right?
And should you get bigger into art? What's the thing you look forward to most this hunting season coming up this fall?
Finally hunting something in the U.S. I mean, I've gone upland bird hunting with my dad, which I love. We went to Nebraska. I got my first pheasant in Kansas. Got my first turkey in Nebraska. We went when I lived in Wyoming. I'd come down from up north down to Cheyenne and go hunting with my dad. Over in Nebraska, we do pheasant and quail, chucker, all that.
There ain't pheasant here for shit.
No.
Man, I'd love to. They look like a pretty bird, man.
Beautiful bird, and they're damn good eating, especially with and dove too.
Dude, people love hunting them. That's the one thing I've noticed. People are like, "You got pheasant there?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. But man, anybody who's a pheasant hunter, they're like, "Man, we'll kill some pheasants." I'm like, "Cool, man. You'll kill pheasants. I get it."
If we can shoot dove here in Oklahoma, around here,
you can. You can shoot dove.
My dad has the secret recipe to make any dove taste good.
Oh, that sounds good.
So we'll have to do that.
Usually, I could be wrong. Somebody may correct me, but I'm pretty certain you kill dove in September here. I think you do. Sure. I don't know. I'm pretty certain you do. That's when. Yeah, most people just sit on the side of a barrel or like a bucket with blue jeans and pop them.
Yeah.
As they fly by a cow pond or something.
Yeah.
What'd your dad do with them when he cooks them up?
I don't know if it's still a secret or not, but
sounds like it might not be here. He might cut it loose.
You breast out a dove,
okay,
wrap it in bacon, and let it marinate in Italian dressing.
Oh.
And you put them on a smoker.
On a smoker, son.
It was hilarious. So just kind of a side story. My dad had this old, crappy Walmart gas grill. And it went through a hailstorm. This grill was probably, 10 years old. But insurance gave him enough, like $550 for it. So he works part-time at another outdoor retailer. So he went and bought himself a Traeger. And those are some of the best meals I've ever had.
Off that Traeger?
Off that Traeger.
Oh, yeah.
Just a smoker in general.
Yeah.
And
who knows how much it would make a difference? And of course, I have the palate of a freaking. I don't have any sophisticated of a palate.
And we go to QT for lunch damn near every day.
Right, exactly. But when you pull something off of a Rec Tech or a Traeger or a Big Green Egg, it's like, holy crap! You can definitely taste the quality of.
Yeah, you did like a week worth of that for.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't eat any more barbecue. But no, you're right though. What I'm trying to get at is you're 100% right about the instrument being used. I could totally agree how it could add flavor back to the meat, especially if you're smoking it.
Oh God,
just goes right back into it.
Oh yeah, big time.
Literally, they use the smoke as a temperature to cook. And man, you want to talk about flavor, son.
And that too was going back to South Africa. We were lucky enough to some of the animals we harvested. They brought eland. Eland's my dad's favorite. He shot an eland. beautiful animal. It's just like a giant horned cow. Eland backstrap literally is the best meat on the planet.
Really?
Yes, hands down.
You had it that night he harvested it?
Yes, and we had it when we were there last year. We didn't shoot an eland, but we still got some. Hands down, the best meat.
How'd you get some without harvesting it? The guy you were with knew
So the
somebody
guy,
you were
yes.
harvesting? Okay. He was like, "Hey, come over here."
If you get any chance to eat any exotic meats, do it. It'll change your palate, like you said.
Oh yeah. Oh man. All right. Our last question, which I feel like I already know the answer to this. It's kind of a two-part question. Who's your favorite person to hunt with? I'm certain I know that answer. And then, what's your favorite instrument to use to harvest an animal?
So my favorite person to hunt with, of course, is my dad.
Right.
Biggest influence on me. I wouldn't be where I'm at today, even in life, without my dad. And best instrument, it's not a physical instrument, but I would definitely use my dad's knowledge.
Oh, I like it, you freaking plot twister. I was waiting for a gun. I was waiting for something. No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal answer. That is. I mean, having somebody like that is invaluable.
It's priceless. 100%.
I mean, your failures that you didn't get to experience. Hey, would you keep it down over there?
I'm sorry. I'm the worst.
No,
but your failures that you didn't get to experience because your dad are invaluable.
I mean, I went through some of my biggest failures, but my dad was there.
Exactly. Well, then that same thing. Whether it be you went through some of your biggest failures and you had your dad, or you were able to avoid some learning curves because you had him there. I mean, that's invaluable, man. That's good, man. Chad, you got anything you want to say? You got any questions you want to ask him? You think you're the gun guru? So.
Said I just collect them. I don't really, I'm not really the guru. You hand me one, I'm gonna take it apart and figure out how to use it as fast as I can.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily as savvy as you guys are in firearms, but I'm looking to be better with it. He bought me an AR for my wedding gift. And,
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I hammer it here and there, and when I get a chance, and I got a 450 Bushmaster.
Okay.
I had to, so in Illinois they just passed firearm season last year for the first time you could use a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
They already have a shotgun season, but you can use a rifle, but it's got to be straight wall. And so I bought a 450 Bushmaster.
Okay.
That's why I got it, and I was able to harvest my first deer with a firearm this year, which that was pretty cool because I kind of set out to do that. Like that was going to be one of my things, is that I'm not getting bypassed by the Orange Army. I call the Orange Army during gun season because I'll bow hunt like till my nuts fall off, and then the Orange Army comes in and they're showing up all their deer. I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, I've been out here for a month and a half, dude, busting my balls, and here you guys are holding up. I'm like, I'm joining the army. I was like, I'm joining the Orange Army.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah. So bought it, was able to, like I said, harvest my first one on top of a ridge, that was fun. Yeah. That was fun. But yeah, the challenge of being able to switch from bow to that was a little bit different because my whole style of getting up close, I actually had to like think about how I could get back,
right?
Which was different for me because I'm always trying to get within 20 yards of the animal. So I'm like, well, if I do that with this, I'll have the sight over bore issue. Like quite literally, if I get within 20 yards, I'm going to have a sight over bore problem, and I don't need that, which, because I haven't already harvested one with a gun. So I'm like, that's the least I need going on now. But just changing my thought process on where to post up based on certain travel corridors, that was cool. And it's something I think that I'll probably do for the rest of my life now that I was able to do it, because that's really where I think I'm going to be able to share memories with my daughter or my nephew or something, just because it's easier hunting. It's easier in the sense that you can access certain places and hunt areas at a distance, whereas you don't got to get nearly as invasive or be nearly as quiet or precise with your location like you would bow hunting.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed the fun of gun hunting for the first time last year. Like I drank beer for a week straight. I just I was like, if I kill something, I kill something. You know what I mean? Like if I don't, I'll be back to bow hunting after this. You know what I mean? I'm not too worried, and it worked out in my favor. I got a really nice deer on the wall because of it. But yeah,
I think some of your biggest hunting failures are also your biggest wins.
no doubt, no
100%.
doubt. You know, it's so funny you say this because whenever things start going south, and I've hunted long enough to where I know this is true, and same thing if you're a big fisherman, you listen. Whenever things start going actually south in the event of a hunt or in the midst of a fish, like you're fishing,
right?
You forget your keys, you forgot to plug in the live well, whatever it may be, you forget your bow and your truck at home. I always joked my buddy Cheese, I had him on here a couple podcasts ago, and I told him, I said, that's when shit's going to get good. And he's like, dude, you're crazy. I'm like, he told me one time we were down at the farm in Illinois, he's like, he's kicking himself in the rear, he's like, fucked up, Drake. I'm like, what'd you do? He goes, I forgot my keys back at your house, and my bow's in the car, and my keys are at your house, and you get the keys from your house to get my bow out of the car. And we're sitting at the farm, which is an hour away, and I go,
oh, God.
I go, take my keys. I guarantee you one of us is killing some shit tonight. And he's like, how are you going to say that? And I go, because whenever shit starts going south, that's when shit starts going north in hunting. Because, like, whenever you actually have your ducks in a row, it seems to me that the animal's always like, checkmate, fuck you, I know you're there. I know you're there. But it's usually when you're flying by the seat of your pants, shit's going south, you're like, shit can't get worse right now. And all of a sudden, shit gets just going the right direction, you know what I mean? I was joking with him. I was like, yeah, because you locked your keys in your truck, we were going to kill something. We killed something that night.
Yeah.
Killed us. I mean, it wasn't a big buck, but it was a doe. You know, and I'm like, we'll kill something tonight. You watch. That's just the spirit of the chaoticness of hunting, you know what I mean? God forbid everything goes smooth. That's when you know shit's actually going wrong.
I think I can't pick out one hunting experience that went 100% by the book.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. Totally agree with that.
And the only time you see that is on TV.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't ever broadcast their failures.
No. Hell no.
Ever. Well, man, I don't got anything else for you. I appreciate you coming on here, Cody.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, of course, dude. You got a standing invite. You come on here whenever you want, man. We'll talk. You educate us in the big game. We'll try and help you with the whitetail. Dude, I'll try and get you up to speed with a bow.
I want a whitetail this year.
We will.
100%.
We'll go, man. We'll go up to this. There's a state park just north that's got about 14,000 acres. We'll go get on it, man. We'll go chase them around, and if we get one, we get one. If we don't, we'll drink beer trying.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
And you're not allowed to shoot anything other than the Matthews. You know that, right?
Twist my arm.
All right.
Twist my arm.
Good. You heard that, everybody. He knows the good side.
Yep.
But, man, guys, thanks for everybody watching. Subscribed already. Thanks to my boy Cody coming out here. Chad, thank you for facilitating this, man. And
no problem.
Corey, thanks for getting our beers. So, guys, we'll see y'all next week. Sorry I wasn't able to be on here last week. I was out for work. I'll probably try and do one more this weekend before I head out for another week. So just stay tuned. I'll be posting a message or something online. And again, if you haven't subscribed yet, guys, go ahead and do that. And thanks to everybody who's followed already.
Yep.
Cheers, boys.